Hello, it's Mr. Costumbator, and today we're going to learn about Cubism and how we can apply our knowledge of Cubism to the drawings we've been doing to create something really creative with our cartoons. So, let's take a look at Picasso. He's one of my favorite all-time artists, and you can see what begins as realism. Picasso becomes bored with realism. He's such a great painter and artist that he decided to take a different look at things. And eventually, he breaks things down into more basic forms, more dramatic forms, until we start to see things that become known as Cubism, where we start to see things getting broken down into fractals or shapes. All right, and really makes for an interesting piece of work. One of his most famous pieces, and he also was really into African masks and seeing two views of things at once, so you could see more than one view of a face. One of his most famous paintings are three musicians, and this is Picasso here on the side, and these are his friends in costume with very bright and dramatic colors, but you can see that everything is broken down into basic shapes, kind of like the way we've been doing our cartoons and how I've been encouraging you to draw with structure. So that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to get started on our Cubism cartoons. This is the one that I've been working on myself. You can see it's a portrait of Mickey with his name I'm working on right now. And to do that, you're going to combine two things that you've already been doing. One is, hopefully you've been doing this weeks and weeks and weeks. These are our warm-ups, our warm-up pages you've been doing in your sketchbook. So do you remember drawing with your arm together? I had you draw vertical lines, horizontal lines, circles, and then I had you draw 5 dots and you connect the dots. All right, so that's what this page is. This is what you're going to do your cartoon cubism on. What you're going to do is you're going to take your warm-up page, make sure it's on a nice clean piece of paper, and you're going to take one of your cartoons. I prefer it be one that's colorful, but either way, any of them will really work. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your cartoon, the one that you drew, that was structured, and I'd like you to outline it dark. I used a Sharpie. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can use a pencil, but make it dark because we're going to transfer it onto your warm-up page. Okay, so you're just going to lay this on top, and you're going to ignore the lines that you have there of your warm-up, and you're just going to trace. I'm just tracing Mickey Mouse here. I'm doing this very quickly so I don't put you to sleep, like I always say, but do take your time. If you can't see your cartoon, put it against a window. It's a great way to see through the paper. And so right now it seems like there's a lot of crazy lines and things going on, and there are, but that's what makes this so interesting. Along with tracing your favorite cartoon, I'd like you to do some lettering. We've done block lettering already. So in this case, Mickey Mouse, you can place a text box in here, any shape you want. All right. Mickey has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters in it. So I would just make a little box for each, letter, and do the negative shapes like we did with our name designs before. I think I'm going to make that optional. So if you want extra credit, you can put the name in there. I'm going to say you don't have to, but if it's something that you really like, I'd encourage you to do the lettering. All right, so I'll leave that optional. But once you have your cartoon drawn on top, you're ready to add color. We're going to use colored pencils for this project. All right, and I'm going to give you lots of time on this. I'm going to give you close to 3 weeks to finish this project because of the way it needs to be colored and the way you need to think about, applying the color. So we're going to use colored pencils. If you don't have any, please see me. I have lots of colored pencils that you can have for this project. Okay? If you notice, there's a variety of tones and values and colors in here. So I'm going to encourage you to go really colorful and use just a whole family of colors that you see in here. Now I have most of Mickey finished, but I just wanted to show you kind of how I got these values. So for Mickey's face, I used all of these colors. All right, so mix them up. What I like to do is I like to pad my paper. If you're in a sketchbook, you're good to go. But if you're not and you're on a rough surface, I would recommend putting something underneath just to sort of pad the paper. And all you're going to do is go in with some of your lighter colors. Sometimes I even use white. Let's say I want to do this section here. I'll use the side of the colored pencil and we're going to overlap our colors. So I'm going to put a little bit of this white, then maybe a little bit of yellow. All right, notice I'm kind of going in like a circular back and forth pattern using the side of the pencil. We do not want to use the point. The point will dig into the paper and you'll damage your paper. And you just keep building it up. I like to come back, if it's a little bit scratchy, I like to come back with a lighter color like yellow or white, and that can work as your blender color. But notice that each shape is a slightly different color. So it just adds interest to your picture. You could even make some things stick out more, like maybe this ear section comes out a little further than the rest of the ear. It just adds direction and almost like motion to it. Do you see how that makes your eye stop when you look at that? So certain areas could pop out a little more than others as you're working on this. That would definitely add interest to it. And again, you're adding, you're looking to use the side of your pencil. You can see Mickey's, hopefully you can see this. It's black, green, and blue. But when you squint at the picture, it still looks like Mickey Mouse because you still have like the darker values. It still looks dark, but it's much more interesting to look at with all these cool colors. His mouth is blue, purple, and pink, and black, and red. So have fun with colors. Really build up the colors of the colored pencil. We don't want this to look like a kindergarten coloring book picture, so really go over it. A good example here is, do you see how smoothly, I'm finished with this section. Do you see how smooth this looks? I don't have any little white specks. Ooh, I don't have any white specks in this area. Do you see how this has lots of white specks? We don't want that on our finished project. So for this one, let me just finish this section for you, and then we'll be finished. See, I'm using the side of the pencil, kind of a back and forth kind of circular motion, and I'm just going to keep building that up. I'll just do a little section here so you can see how this kind of transforms. Again, this is one of these projects that can be very relaxing to do while you're adding color to these. And don't be afraid to use lots of different colors. using the side of the pencil. Okay, so can you see how this area looks more finished than this edge? So you just don't want to have any white specks showing as you work on your project. Sharpie is optional, but I think if you go dark enough with your colors, think of darks and lights. You know, the edge of Mickey's darker colors, his face are going to be lighter colors. Eyeballs can be left white if you want to, but it really can look, it depends on how far you want to go abstract. It can really start to look abstract and still really cool and interesting at the same time. So draw really big. Just to recap, start with your warm-up. Get a nice clean warm-up. Trace the cartoon that you drew through the paper onto your warm-up. This is your warm-up, and you trace your cartoon. Then you're going to take colored pencil. Colored pencil. See me if you need colored pencils. You're going to use the side of the colored pencil to fill in lots of unique colors into your work. Take your time. I'm giving you a lot of time to do this. So neatness is really important. Create a really neat coloring project. Blend your colors. I like to use about 3 colors in every shape. Okay, so right here I use 3 colors. So use lots of different colors. It makes for a more interesting image when you're finished. That's all I have for you now. Enjoy the project. Feel free to email me or reach out if you have any questions. Bye for now.